This week on Let's Talk Schools, did you know that Fulton County Schools has one of the strongest music therapy programs in the United States? We're tooting our own horn as we discuss this well-deserved recognition. Hello, and welcome to another edition of Let's Talk Schools. I'm Mike Looney, the host of the show, and have the good fortune of being the superintendent of schools here in Fulton County. Today, we're going to be talking about music therapy and the importance of it, the impact of it on our students. And we have our resident expert, Amber, who's going to tell us all about it. And the person that's in charge of all fine arts education here in Fulton County is Matt. So we're going to start with Amber. Okay. Tell us your full name, a little bit about your background, and what got you interested in this specific type of work.
Absolutely. So I'm Amber Weldon-Stevens, and I've been in Fulton County since 1990. Yes, I was hired in Fulton County to start this program in 1990. I had just come out of the University of Georgia, had just done my internship. I was young and new, and the coordinators at the time said, we need this. So I sat in an interview years ago and down at Cleveland Avenue, and that's where we were for the schools, for the admin building, and had a great interview, and they said, let's give this a try. There's such a need for kids with disabilities. So, music therapy, I got into it kind of in a back door at the University of Georgia. I was majoring in something else and then heard and read a lot about music therapy and then decided it absolutely was something I wanted to do. Music therapy has been a recognized profession since 1950. So we're heading towards 75 years in 2025 of a recognized profession. So when I was coming down the pipe, my parents like, are you making this up, Amber? I'm like, no, this is a real job, Dad. This is really a thing. So in Fulton County, went out on a limb with me because it didn't exist anywhere. The only other place when I was hired in 1990 that a music therapist, there was a program, was in the Clayton County schools. So Clayton County schools have had music therapy since 1973. And then we started this one in 1990. And here we are many years later. And now I'm very proud of it. We have, we've been at this a long time. We have 17 music therapists on staff. It's one of the, been around a long time. We have a lot of great music therapists doing a lot of great things. We're able to be in over 70 schools. We're in all of our high schools now. All of our high schools get music therapy. We're in many of our elementaries and our middles, serving kids with disabilities in self-contained classes.
Well, I know I get music therapy every single day. It's my way I wind down. It's the way I process things. Music makes the world go around, literally.
It does.
And it certainly is very helpful. Matt, let me ask you this question. First, Matt, tell us about you and who you are and what you do.
Sure. Matt Koperniak, Performing Arts Coordinator for Fulton County Schools. Have not been here since 1990, but certainly really appreciate just everything that I'm able to do with Fulton County. We've got amazing bands and choirs and orchestras, elementary music program, and of course, our amazing music therapy programs. And so, I do want to brag on Amber for just a minute, if that's okay. She's very humble. Since starting this program, she's been the Fulton County Teacher of the Year for the whole district in 2000. And really our students in our music therapy programs have gotten a chance to shine, not only through the individual attention they get at school during the day, but just this past year, we had the Roswell students perform the national anthem for our state music conference, starting that out for about 2,000 music educators. Amber brought a group of students to sing and perform for the state school board meeting in May, and some of our Westlake students performed for a Southeastern Regional Music Therapy Conference back in March. So we've had a great year and a lot of great years.
That's awesome. Amber, tell us a little bit more detail about what parents can expect for their children to experience in music therapy here in Fulton.
So music therapy is the use of music to achieve a non-music related goal. It's to increase a skill or decrease a behavior. So I get asked a lot, you teach music. And I say, I use music to teach. And then people go, that's an elevator speech. And so I'll say things like, how did you learn your ABCs? And everybody's like, you sing that little song. Well, that's exactly a little tiny piece of what music therapy is. We didn't sit a 2-year-old down. I have a 2-year-old grandson. I would never sit him down and say, A, B, B. I would sing a song, A, B, C, D. And then he's getting it, and he's 2, and he's singing it back to me. So it's using music to teach skill sets. Or to decrease behavior, to do so many things. Because music, as we all know, is from the cradle to the grave. There are music therapists in the NICUs across the United States. There are music therapists in palliative and hospice care. So music, as we know, you use it weekly. You weekly put music into with your emails to us. And I love seeing that. From the very beginning when you started it, I was like, he gets it. Because music is therapeutic in so many avenues in our lives. So, and our students, we serve the we's through the high school. So the kids in self-contained classes at the age of 3 began to receive music therapy. So we get their IEPs, we dig deep, we look at the things that they need, and we craft just for what they need. So all of their communication needs, their fine motor needs, their gross motor needs, their academic needs, their music needs, we do it using music. And we do that all the way through high school. So in high school now, we actually have a program called United Arts that those high school kids that are just about ready to transition out at the age of 21 are receiving music therapy services twice a week to really do like an adapted music appreciation class to really make them see how they can use music past high school, how they can use music in their leisure time and what they can be a part of and what they could join in. So across the gamut of our 3-year-olds through our 21-year-olds, music therapy digs deep into the kids' IEPs, pulling what we know we can work, as well as we access all the music ed skills. When appropriate, we absolutely are teaching music education skills. I was just working on some steel drumming with some group of kids at Sweet Apple, and then working on some caroling, performing opportunities for kids at Mount Park. So it is really across the gamut. And I believe that the parents, it's the culture of Fulton County now. They absolutely, they see the value of it. I don't think there's anyone out there that wouldn't see the value of using music and using it across your curriculum, because that's really what it is, using music across the needs of the children.
Matt, I look at a whole education as certainly focusing on academics, but I also believe that the arts are really important, and so too are athletics. So a student gets the rounded experience. It doesn't mean somebody has to be a star football player or a opera singer, but just the exposure and the participation in those, I think, make a well-rounded student. So how do we expand the performing arts and music therapy into general ed settings as well, so that more kids are learning through music?
That's a great question. And I think some of the answers to that lie in our new strategic plan, which we're really excited to jump into. The fine arts pathway, is a really close tie-in, I think, to different areas of the strategic plan as we look to expand access to those pathways. So we're excited about that. To tie it back to music therapy for a minute, anytime that there's a program where students can benefit, we make sure to partner with the people running that program, such as the LEAP program, to make sure that if we've got students who can benefit from music interventions to help them modify their behaviors, then our expert team of music therapists are the perfectly trained individuals to do that. And from there, there's just so many opportunities. So if there's parents listening, if there's community members listening, there's so many ways that we can get kids involved beyond just band, orchestra, and chorus. We've recently been expanding our music technology programs due to a series of grants that we've received for Creekside High School, with partnering with the Music Education Group for additional music tech labs in Langston Hughes High School and Westlake High School, as well as Sandtown Middle School. And so as we also look towards the industry part of things, because Georgia's a great place to be for music and the performing arts, there's lots of ways to expand the access for kids.
So Amber, I'm interested in the therapy part of your work.
Okay.
So can you expand a little bit more about the therapy part of work? I know that music helps create mood.
Yep.
And it creates feeling, right?
Yep.
Like I remember being a classroom teacher, and I honestly played classical music in my classroom because I was familiar with the research back then. This is decades ago now, that music stimulates your brain synapses and it helps students retain information, particularly in math. So I used classical music while I was teaching math, playing in the background. But talk to me about the therapy part of this work. How does it help students emotionally and socially?
That's a good question. So, and you know this, and most people, if they don't know this, music is the only thing that synapses both sides of the brain,
right?
That kind of jumps from one to the other. It's the only thing that truly kind of locks in long-term memories, which is why individuals with Alzheimer's and dementia, there are so many things that we work to try to bring them back into some reality of where they are. And music is that one thing that really triggers into long-term memory like nothing else. So with what you were doing in your classroom, playing the music that you were playing, not only were you allowing their brains, and again, it was classical music. It wasn't highly processed. It was classical songs. So those are the things that bounce best into the brain at the time. So let's go to therapeutically. I had thought about today bringing in a bass bar, and I forgot. So a bass bar is just a big old tone bar, and it has one sound, and those are low tones. And so this was a kid I worked with years ago. This kid was really contracted. He had cerebral palsy and lots going on, and he was really pulled into a bit of a knot. And so I had read a lot of the research that said low tones really, when they come to the body, can release contractures. And so this is truly therapeutic. This isn't really music therapy, the academic piece. This is the therapeutic piece. So here I was at this elementary school with this really contracted little kid. I wrote a Fulton County Foundation grant at the time. This big old drum was $1,000, but they approved it, and it had to ship from Germany, but it got here. And when that drum finally came, and we got that little fella out of his contracted little self, out of that wheelchair, and we put him on that drum, and I began singing, and that drum was kind of in a D minor mode, and it had these big bars across it. And so you laid the kid literally on the drum, and as those tones came up into the body, his little body, his arms began to straighten, his legs began to straighten, his little hands that really were always like this began to flatten. We hit the panic button, and all the people came running. I mean, the administrators, the principal, everybody came running because I didn't want to stop. I didn't want to stop because we'd never seen the child like this. So the use of those low tones on that body really took those contractures. Now, those same low tones, when a kid is so emotionally in a fit of not regulating well at all, there's research that shows those same types of low tones can help the kids regulate as well. So again, there's so much about music and what it can do for the body that there's so much more we don't even know. We don't know yet. But so we're using music cognitively to trigger memories, to the music itself kind of guides the child to expectations of what the answer would be. So if we've sung a song 3 times, it takes 21 times supposedly, but 3 times to a song, a kid's gonna, and we'll just stop. But it's that escalation to that note and that weight and that syncopation that makes the kid answer it each time. Now, what we've seen with other therapies, they'll come in and want to co-treat. So we have speech paths in with us, and OTs in with us, and physical therapists in with us, because they see if we can do it with music, we might be able to work together to better reach their goals. So therapeutically, the sky's the limit. And I'm just so thankful that Fulton sees that they see that what we're able to do for these children on a weekly basis is so far past what I feel like every school system needs. I would say that again and again. I would say 35 years ago when I started in Fulton County, I would love to see every county have a music therapist on staff. And I'm still saying it, and it hasn't happened. I told this to the state school board. Right now we have 4 counties with a countywide music therapy program. 4.
Well, I tell you, with the passion that you bring to the table, I'm confident the state school board, I'm listening to you, and sooner or later we will have music therapy across all counties in Fulton. Thank you so much for this insightful conversation. I wish you could talk longer. You obviously are very passionate and very informed. Matt, thank you so much for your continued support of the performing arts. We are being nationally recognized as a result of the work that you folks are doing, and I'm just proud to be part of that, and humbled that we're doing so many good things for our students across the domains, and the performing arts and music therapy is part of the toolkits that we use here in Fulton County. Thanks for joining us for another Let's Talk Schools. It's been a very informative conversation. I look forward to seeing you again soon. And now, let's go around the district in 90 seconds. That's it for our show this week. Let's keep this conversation going. We'd love to hear from you on our social media platforms. Join us next time on Let's Talk Schools, and thank you for watching.